Welcome to the GH Gospel Radio Show. This is the Power Chat Room with me, your host, Lady Ajo, and this is another episode, and I am excited to see you here. First of all, I would want to know how you're doing and how has your week been. I hope you're faring well, and I hope all your loved ones are well as well. Okay, so like before we do with every episode, I like to share a word of prayer to acknowledge He who has made it possible for us to be here today. Father, we just want to say thank you today. Thank you for life. Thank you for breath. Thank you for health. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for your goodness. For all that you have done, we say thank you. And for all that you are yet to do, we say thank you. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. My darling, how have you been? So on this episode, we are finally wrapping up for the month of love. You know, we've been talking about self-love in our previous episodes where we've looked at different the versions of self-love, but today the aspect of self-love that I want to talk about is about you and your space. Now, many of us don't know how to enjoy our own company or even be in our own space for too long. We soon cry or say we are lonely, but I have come to appreciate what it takes to walk the journey with your own company, with your own thoughts, with your own strength, and even mastering your own weakness. Because when you are in a crowded place, it is easy for you to feel like you are supported to make certain decisions. But until you have isolated yourself where you know that this is you and you are the only one who is your support system, you will sometimes make decisions where you are favoring other people or considering other people and their opinions in what is best for you. But let's talk about you in your own space and you learning to enjoy your own company. First of all, you need to understand that you are just more than a human being. You are mind, body, and soul put together. And so these are three different entities that exist within you as an individual. And these different entities all hold different spaces within your life that needs your attention. And so sometimes it is very important to learn to be in your own space and appreciate your own personality or persona to be able to understand who you are wholly. Because the mind you have is one entity. The spirit being within you is one entity. And the physical container that carries all these is another entity. You need to be in a space where you can fully acknowledge your mind, spirit, body, and soul and put them in alignment with whatever that you aim to manifest. Life is more than the crowd that we are surrounded by. It is more of the journey that we are on. It doesn't matter how many people you have around you in life. You should constantly have a reminder that no matter the people that you have around you and no matter how many of them say they support you, when your final destination is activated, it is you and only you. Even Christ, who was constantly in the midst of disciples, had to go to the cross alone. Never be deceived by the number of people that you have around you, thinking that you have support. I used to think that the number of people that you have around you meant that you have a lot of support. Boy, was I so wrong. I soon learned that the quality of the people you surround yourself with is more important than the quantity. Because really and truly, at the end of the day, even your shadow knows how to leave you in the dark. And so nobody is truly meant to follow you everywhere, always. And nobody is going to be with you forever. Know this. Now, your own company can sometimes seem like a trap, or sometimes it can seem like a liberating energy for you, in the sense that when you have the opportunity to spend time with yourself, do not go feeling sorry for yourself or counting all the things that went wrong in your life and why you are in the space that you are in right now. But rather, you should take advantage of that opportunity to count all your blessings. Because if you count all your blessings, you would know that indeed God has been good to you. We forget to show gratitude, but the attitude of gratitude is one that brings us the value of the things that we have acquired or the things that we have received or where we have reached in life. Because when you start practicing gratitude and pay attention to the things that you have been blessed with, you realize that you are not as bad as you've always thought, but but rather you have been blessed in many ways. Look around you. Look at your family. Look at the life that you have. Look at the things that you have achieved. Look at the battles that you have overcome. You have so much to be thankful for. Yes, it might not be what you desired all this while, but it is what somebody is desiring. And so it is worth being thankful for. Acknowledging all that is good in your life lets you appreciate all that is yet to come when they do come. Because you learn not to take things for granted, and you learn not to overlook the effort that goes into making all these things possible. And you learn to appreciate the people who help you make all this possible in the first place. Learn to appreciate your own space, for there is more for you to learn in your space than there is in the crowd. Appreciate your own self and your space. When you learn to sit in the place of calmness, of thought, and you enjoy your own space as an individual, who you are, it gives you the ability to meditate on you as a person, your journey, what you have done, what you're yet to do, and what is required of you. Having the ability to sit quietly in your own space, to reflect, re-evaluate, and adjust yourself, is a very, very powerful tool that we all need to acquire on this journey called life. You are your biggest cheerleader, and you are your biggest critic. You should learn to always accommodate both sides of you, because the good, the bad, and the ugly that makes up your life is what is unique about your life. The journey is not easy, and it would never be, but neither are you as weak as you think. You are strong, but you need to always work on your strength and master what is your gift, what is your weakness, and who you are. Now, dealing with your personal space, sometimes you need to learn to isolate yourself from all the things that distract you. It's easy to get distracted in a crowded place, or it's easy to get distracted in this fast-paced life where everybody is out chasing whatever and everything that people think is success. But you need to define success for yourself, because what one will call success might not be what you are going to define as being successful. For me, success is nothing to do with the physical or the material things, but it has everything to do with me self-actualizing all that I have identified as the giftings within me, which has to do with me, my impact, and my journey beyond my lifespan. Because you have your days that are numbered here on earth, but we are privileged to live beyond our days with the deeds that we do. And so when your life comes to an end, you can live beyond those days with the things that you have done and the people that you have touched. But some would also die the very day they die, because there is nothing more that lives beyond them. But I, as a person, I want to live beyond my days. I want to go beyond the number of days that I have on earth. And so my journey has to be purposeful. Everything I do must be with intent of the final destination that I have in mind, knowing fully well that I will one day be gone. And honestly, I am one of those people who is not afraid of death. No, I think one of the most ignorant part of a human life that I have come to see is our ignorance to the day of death. We are human beings, living things, and we know that this cycle has an end to it, and so we would one day definitely die. But it's not when we die that is very important, but it is rather how we live that is more important. How are we living our lives? Because we are definitely going to die. How we live is more important than how we die. Because how we die has nothing else to offer but just an end of the road. But how we live is how long we truly live. How we live is going to show us whether we have lived beyond our days or we have ended our days where we ended life. I want to encourage you to live more meaningfully and more purposefully, because life has more to offer than the things that we chase. The meaning and the value of a man's life is not by the things that we acquire whilst we are alive, but it's as a result of the impact of our life whilst we live. Spend your time doing some things that are very, very meaningful. You need to have a self-concept that directs you. You need to get to a place where you have identified your purpose as an individual. Now your purpose is that thing that directs your focus in life. The aim of your life is your purpose. Now, what do you aim to achieve out of life? That which you have identified must be able to motivate you beyond your most difficult times. And that thing that you have identified must constantly be the pushing element in everything you seek out of life. Your purpose is key. Identify it. Your purpose would also point out the direction of your life, and you would be understanding of the role that you have been assigned as an individual. It may not work in the script of others, but it definitely works for you to put yourself first. Learn to appreciate your own space, your own purpose, and your own journey. Now, in your own space, it is easy to get lost in your thoughts. And so learn to navigate your thoughts with positivity. It is easy for you to hear all the little voices in your head that tell you how bad you are at whatever it is that you're seeking out of life, that point out all your flaws and limit you in a lot of ways. But then I want you to know that all these things are not facts. What you choose to do is where the fact lies. The actions you take are the things that bring meaning to you, not the things that you think. Our perceptions can be wrong. Sometimes a 6 can look like a 9 depending on where you are standing. So learn to think more critically about things before you move on with the things that you do. Perceptions can be wrong. 6 can look like a 9 depending on where you're standing. Think more critically and be more mindful with the choices that you make, with your end constantly in mind. Never lose focus, because when you lose focus, that is when you lose direction. Having said this, we should be very mindful of how we speak to ourselves in our own spaces. When we are alone, that is when we feel more at ease to discredit ourselves and speak down on ourselves. But you see, low self-esteem comes from identifying only your flaws, forgetting all your victories. Whenever that negative voice keeps pointing out all your flaws, do me a favor and raise the flags of your victory, because it has a way of shutting down that negative voice in your head. Don't just count all the negativities that you have experienced as a person, but also rejoice over the victories that you have won. Because that very thing that you overcame can be the very thing that ends somebody's life. So don't take your victories for granted. Celebrate every little win. The journey to self-discovery or self-actualization is a lonely part, and you must embrace that loneliness, because in that loneliness you find the essence of your purpose for which God created you. sometimes we get so caught up in the things that seem to be falling apart, we forget to identify the help that we have had on the path that we are on. God never leaves us alone in anything that we do. Just that He might not always give you what you think you deserve, but He would always give you what you need, because what you need would always be above what you want. Because wants can be things that we live without, but needs are necessities to our existence. So identify what is needful in your life and do them more often. Leave the wants for another day, because you can always come back and address them. But what you need for your survival is key to your existence. Don't forget this. With all that we have talked about in this month of love, we have talked about self-love, having to love yourself and putting yourself first, prioritizing yourself, and also knowing that it is okay to constantly reintroduce yourself anytime you have gained more knowledge about yourself. Do that without an apology to anyone or anything around you, because you are the person that you have to prioritize most in every decision that you would ever take in life. Do these things and you would realize that you as an individual have more to offer than you have always given yourself credit for. And in also saying this, I want to also say that in a recap of everything that we have done this month, take time to visit all our social media sites, which is all our social media platforms, which is the GH Gospel Radio Show, and take a look at all the episodes that we have had in this month of love, and take the lessons that works for you and apply them to yourself. Now, in the coming weeks, we have the month of March. And in the month of March, it's a Women's Month. The International Women's Month is on the 8th of March. And so the whole month of March is dedicated to women. And trust me when I say I am going to have incredible women here on this episode, week after week after week. And you don't want to miss out on this. And hey, in saying this, I would also want to remind you that on the 8th of March, we have the International Women's Day Conference coming up, which is themed "What Validates You as a Woman." That is one event that you want to get registered for. And so until then, I want to say thank you for joining me in this month of love. I want to encourage you to keep loving yourself, keep putting yourself first, and keep doing what is best for you. But most importantly, learn to stand by yourself, stand up for yourself, and stand with yourself in every situation, because you are your best cheerleader and you are your worst critic. So learn to master all that is within you. And remember, there are so many divinities that makes you a person. Make sure you have time and space to feed them all. Don't be distracted by the crowd. Always make time for yourself. Thank you for joining me on this episode. My name is Lady Ajo, and this has been the Power Chat Room. Thank you very much.